So here we are in Tustan, which is an old fortress. There was a gigantic wooden fortress built up on those rocks over there, and it completely covered the rocks. I mean, the wooden buildings completely covered the rocks, and it was used to protect the salt trade going back to the 9th century. It was originally built by the Croats, and then it was taken over by the Kievan Rus in the 10th century. Here behind me we have a trebuchet and a battering ram, which, if they had any rope in them, looks like they would be still usable. The trebuchet does, it is full of rocks, so there's a possibility that it could fire on this fort over here. And this is another one of those Ukrainian, like, open parks where you just kind of explore at your own risk, and there are signs telling you where you should and shouldn't go, but nobody's actually paying any attention to them. And so here we are at the Festival Fortress, and I guess I'm just gonna go inside and see what's going on here. Looks like got some axe marks on the doors here. Somebody's been trying to break in. And yeah, you just got a nice little round fort here with some walls that could probably be in better condition, and it's obviously, you know, got some extra doors and whatnot that it probably doesn't need from a defense perspective. But we can go up here and get a look out at these invaders. And make it up one more level, I guess. And from here, you got a pretty good view. I wouldn't feel terribly safe if somebody set up that trebuchet out there and I was up here in this wooden fort. That, yeah, I wouldn't feel like this wooden fort was going to keep me safe. But I guess it'd be better than standing out in the open. Now they have a little app, which unfortunately I can't show because I'm recording this on my phone. But if you open up the app and then point your phone camera towards the rocks up there, it shows you what the fortress used to look like. And they know that it was really built up all over that rock face because there's holes in the rock that show where the support beams were. And this was, like I said, it was on a pretty major trade route. And then in the 1600s, Europe, Western Europe that is, started to mine their own salt, and the trade route kind of fell apart and fell into disrepair, and the fortress stopped being used and fell down, at least the wooden parts of it. So we're hiking up towards the rock face, and you can kind of see in this face on the rock the holes that were drilled out for the support beams of the wooden structure that once almost completely covered these rocks. Okay, so we've hiked most of the way to the top, about as high as you can get on these rocks. It was a pretty steep climb, but we did have a nice wood path. Some of us are more tired than others, understandably. I'm only carrying myself. She's carrying too. So, yeah, that was a good climb.
Show them what's next.
Well, so we're coming out into this clearing here, and we're almost to the top of that rock formation we were looking at earlier. Let's see what the view looks like from up there. So here we are at one of the little platforms, not the last one yet, but I think you can see up here there's some of those ledges where the old wooden beams used to rest and to hold up the gigantic wooden structures that were up here. And we're coming out into a little clearing here. We've got a nice view all around. And over in this direction, you can see another couple of stone pillars across the gap there, maybe 200 meters away. So this is a recreation of what the fortress used to look like. And the little yellow dot is where I'm standing right now. So all of this rock face once would have been covered with those wooden buildings like that. Now over here you have a cave. I wonder whether that was naturally carved out or if that was carved out by man. There's lots of graffiti, modern graffiti, all over these rocks. But that's also, I guess, an archaeological record that Volvo was here. We've got a nice commanding view of the valley from up here. I can see why this would be an excellent place to build a fortress. These thick, beautiful woods would have provided plenty of lumber to build a wooden fortress up here. What do we have here? Is it a long, dark tunnel? Is it a long, wet, dark tunnel? I believe it is. Let's go find out. I'm glad I'm wearing my sandals. I gotta say, it looks a lot brighter on my screen than it does here. And I don't know how far down in there I'm willing to go. In fact, I think this is about it. I'm a little bit claustrophobic. That's right, folks. Okay, so that's about it for today. We are driving to Kamieniec-Podolski, which is 5.5 hours away, and it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon already. And we usually can't drive more than an hour or so without stopping. So we're going to be getting there 11, 12 o'clock at night. We have an appointment in the morning to meet a man about some Mexican food. And then we're going to be heading off to Kiev. We got a lot of driving ahead of us in the next 2 days. Back to Kiev to finish all of our paperwork and immigrate and get ready to move on. So wish us luck, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Every time you click one of those buttons, it really helps us out and we really appreciate it. Everybody, be good to each other. Okay, so we were driving down the highway. We're trying to make good time towards Kamieniec-Podolski, where we're spending the night tonight. It's already like 8:15. We got like 2.5 hours left, but we saw this really awesome looking ruins of a collective farm, a kolkhoz, on the side of the highway, and I couldn't not stop. I mean, this is just a piece of history that we have to stop and appreciate. And so we're just gonna, maybe drive through it. We got some old ass buildings over here. And it looks like we're coming up on the main buildings.
Whee! How exciting!
Now Natalia definitely thinks that I'm crazy for wanting to come and see stuff like this. Because to her this is nothing special, but I think this stuff is just so cool. I just love seeing, I love urban exploration and taking a look at old buildings. And here we are. And so I think I might just get out and take a quick walk around. So here I have, I'm not sure what this building is. Ugh, I got this old rusty chain up there. I'm sure that somebody more familiar with agriculture could probably fill in what this building was for. They would probably know. I mean, this is a nice tall building. Everything's concrete. I wonder how long it's been since anything. I mean, it almost seems like these buildings would still be useful almost. I mean, you've got an electrical substation here that's got, these wires I'm sure are in use. Let's see what's going on over in this one. The roof's not in too bad a shape. I mean, okay, it is in horrible shape, but there's no gaping holes in it. Got some old beer bottles. Wow. So this was probably some kind of feed hall for animals, I guess. I have no idea. But being very careful where I walk. Wish I had better protective clothing on. Now, I can see that everything metal has been taken out of here by scavengers. And that's happened with a lot of the old buildings. You'll see that everything metal is gone. All the light bulbs have been stolen. I mean, they even climbed up to the ceiling and got these light bulbs. Oh, there's one. Nope, there was one light bulb. One light bulb was still here. I'm sure it's burnt out. It doesn't smell too bad. And there must be 16 or 20 of these buildings here. Just a little bit of urban exploration on our way to Kamieniec-Podolski. I guess this is rural. This is rural exploration. This would not be urban. Oh, I can feel my legs are going through spider webs. Oh, somebody wanted to paint this room pink. Interesting choice. And you can look over to the next one. And they just keep going on. Guess I'll have to go back out the way I came in. Oh, here we have a actual piece of furniture here. Kick that open. See what I can. Oh, old beer bottle. Huh. This huge building just sitting up here, not doing anything. Well, and this is so that was our little trip through the abandoned kolkhoz. Say goodbye, kolkhoz. Next time we stop, we should be in Kamieniec-Podolski. Dusk is settling in. We're on the border, well, just over the river here, on the border between two regions, about to enter the Frankowski region. The sun is setting over the river. There's been flooding in the area, so the river's really high and it's moving quite quickly. So here we are on our last hour into Kamieniec Podolski, and I'm driving down the highway at about 30 miles an hour because if I go any faster than that, I can't dodge the potholes. Got my brights on, and basically I can't take my eyes off the road for even an instant because these potholes will just jump up out of nowhere. Like there's one. Now they've got these really weird potholes here that are like they're perfect rectangles, and it looks like there's so many of them, and they had to have been made by people. So why did they make perfectly rectangular potholes, and why are there so many of them? And that's just weird. Like, those aren't natural potholes. But anyway, it's kind of spooky. I mean, we're in a village right now, but like when we get in between the villages, it is just dark and abandoned.